It's the big show, and we're here with a massive star. I'm not talking physically, I'm talking in terms of show business. It's Roy Chubby Brown. How are you?
Hello, and how are you? How's it going?
It's going all right. It's always nice to see you. I'll tell you why, because you're very popular and you're very funny, and people seem to love you, don't they?
Do they? All right. Maybe I owe money. Maybe that's why they're following me about with the shovel.
Now, how are you doing? The last time we spoke, it was a bit miserable because Bernard had just died, and you're still gigging and gagging. Are you still happy and enjoying yourself?
It's fantastic. It's a great life. I just absolutely love it. The good thing about that is if anybody stops and asks me for an autograph when I'm busy, and they say, "Oh, I know you. I know your face," I always say, "I'm Bernard." And then I walk off and go, well, I thought he'd passed away. No, he can't be. That must be him there, the fat lad with the big ass.
Well, it's either that or Vanessa Feltz, isn't it, really?
Yeah.
It's one or the other.
Yeah.
And how's the show going? Because you change it. I think you're one of the bravest men in comedy because you every year have to come up with a new show because you put it on DVD.
Exactly, and it's hard work. That's where the difficulty comes in. When I'm sat at my desk and I'm thinking about what's going on, and I'm looking at the papers every day. As today, you've got Prescott with bulimia, obviously forgot to spew up, and then we've got Prince William landed his helicopter in his girlfriend's garden. I don't think it'll be that the first time she's seen his chopper, and so forth. There's always something in the papers. Every day there's something in the papers. You just got to get hold of it.
And the Prescott story, I mean, that's a dream to people like you, isn't it? It doesn't get any better than that.
I could do half an hour on that, but people would get bored. We were bored with him when he was with us. We're trebly bored with him now he's gone.
And I've got to ask you, on a very serious note, Roy, do you suffer from bulimia?
I think somebody's taken the PISS here. I wish. I'll tell you what I did actually do a few months ago. I thought about getting a tummy tuck, but the plastic surgeon, after an hour of laughing, I just got up and walked out. He said I would have to wear a corset. I said, oh, well, I've been wearing one of them since the wife caught it in the back of the car. All gag, but I'm an old comic, so...
How do you become bulimic and be as fat as him? I don't understand.
I've been thinking about that. Do you think people want to see him as a bulimic? Actually, I know what's happened. He's bringing a book out, isn't he? He is bringing a book out, yeah. Won't be one of the world's thinnest books, because I have actually seen the world's thinnest book. All My Friends by Heather Mills. And then there was another book was very thin, My Wild Years by Cliff Richard. Yeah. And there was another book, and I'm doing my act here.
We'll be here all night, won't we? How do the ladies keep their hands off you?
That's very, very difficult, especially... You know what I'm going to do this year? You'll be the first to hear this. I haven't told anybody. I'm going to have a Christmas card made with me completely naked. Tadger and everything, so if you want one, they're £300 each, yeah, or it might be £2, depending on how well it looks, but I'm looking for a photographer actually who'll do it.
I'll pass on that, but you could charge £1 an inch.
Oh, well, nobody's going to take a bank loan out for this one, are they?
Have you got any change?
Yeah, I'm actually taking Viagra now to stop it polishing my shoes.
What about your audience? Because when I come to these shows, there's all different age groups and all different demographics. You get posh people and people as rough as crabs' arseholes, don't you? How do you manage to do that?
I've had a few stories related to me. I've been talking to people. I was at the races last week, and this chap was telling me that he'd gone down to Royal Ascot. And he'd been in this massive tent, and this lord somebody was telling a joke, and his wife said, "Oh, Charles, that's one of Chubby's." Now, you never know who's listening to you, do you? And if the taxman's listening to this, I'm not earning very much, and petrol's gone up. Don't forget, gas has gone up that much. I was going to put my head in the oven, but I can't afford it.
And what about the travelling? Because, it is boring, isn't it, getting from theatre to theatre? How do you deal with that in the hotels and the premier lodges?
Well, I had a 4-night holiday last week. I had a first week on the M1 between junction 22 and 27, and the other week in Terminal 5. So that's why I haven't got a tan.
Do you make notes? I know Ken Dodd says when he comes to a certain venue, he puts certain jokes in because they go well. Do you do your giggle map, or how does that work with you?
Today when I knew I was coming down to Derby, obviously everybody's a duck, or a love, or a cock, aren't they? Hello, love, hello, duck, as they got thou darts with the la. So, yes, I've been coming to these places now for 40 years. I know everybody in every place. I know where to get drugs, the police station, it's... Yeah, of course. I mean, I've got so many friends in the business. The fan club that we do on the internet, as you know, has had millions and people hits and people writing to me in cards and letters and phone calls, and so there'll be quite a few people in the audience tonight that, it's our Roy. Oh, it's our Roy. Oh, Chubby. Oh, I know Chubby. Oh, I painted our back kitchen. No. Everybody knows you.
Now, the last time I saw you was on that documentary on Channel 4, which I was on as well. And I gave you a bit of a hard time then, because I think I have to, because everybody says, oh, he's controversial, he's outrageous. Your audience don't care, do they?
Not at all, no. No, I have every nationality in our audience. Now, if you can't laugh at yourself, you know, what's the matter with you? You know, this line people keep coming out with, get a life. Well, get a life. Just, it's fun. It's fun. I mean, you couldn't tell Irish jokes because it was offensive. Then you couldn't tell jokes about black people. It was offensive. Then you couldn't tell jokes about midgets because it was offensive. You know, so why don't we all just go on stage and stand there for 10 minutes playing with our thumbs? You know, there's this saying that you can't please all the people all of the time. Well, all them people were in my show last Friday, and it was very, very difficult because they were shouting that much that my train of thought, my concentration had gone completely out the window. So I had to jump from subject to subject. So apparently this stripper on a plane with a dog biting a toe, there was no punchline to it. Do you understand what I mean? I just wish that sometimes when they come along and they have a bit of fun, a professional heckler will say something and let you answer him back. I mean, he might say to me, where'd you get that suit from? And I say, same place you got that mouth, the outside shop. There's a professional heckler. But a typical arsehole will go, how can you answer that back?
It's interesting, isn't it? Because you kind of attract that in one way and it makes the show, but it can interrupt the show. I don't know how you balance that.
It makes it look bollocks, to be honest. It just makes it look stupid. You know, and I don't know who you are, where you're from. All professional comedians will tell you that enough is enough. You know, you've got to let the comic... What's the point of me sitting here all day writing and thinking and observing and watching and reading and then suddenly going on stage and I think, oh, well, that was a waste of time.
And what about you being you? Because I interviewed Darcy Bussell just a couple of weeks ago and she spent hours having to maintain that body. It must be very hard keeping this because, I mean, you can't be Roy Chubby Brown if you're not chubby, can you?
Well, I've been torn between the gym and the cake shop all my life. There was a time when there was nobody looking at me. I'm talking about pussy now. Now, none of them were looking at me, and I thought, well, I'm not going to get any, so I really need to get the gym, knuckle down, and have some of this pork taken off. But as I was getting thinner, and my crew will verify this, I had to have a stomach made. Didn't I? I had to have a stomach made. There's one of them just walked in. I had to have the stomach made, a false stomach, and funny thing was going through the airport because I had this false stomach and a massive tadger in my case, and they looked at me in Australia and said, "Where do you think you were going and who are you?" Yeah, but that was the thing is, I have always been torn between who I am and what I do, and who I am is earning me money. I'm Roy Chubby Brown, that earns me money. You know, and that's the bottom line, really. What
is your favourite venue? Is there a favourite place to perform?
I prefer the smaller theatres because you can talk to the audience. They're there, they're looking at your face, you were talking to them. It's like somebody's front room. When you stood on stage at, say, I don't know, let's pick one, Edinburgh Playhouse, you know, you're like a pea on a drum. How can you tell somebody a really funny story who's 350 yards away? Yeah, it's just ridiculous. But because you have to do that because every town, every village, every city you go to has several venues. They have to put bums on seats to get people to come in to pay money to see acts. There isn't that many acts who can do that, so everybody wants a piece of you. You belong to the public. And as you do that and you go to these venues, you may only go once a year, so you've got to cram in as much as you can.
I was thinking about you the other night watching Britain's Got Talent. I was thinking, wouldn't it be wonderful for you to stand on stage and do a punchline with the word in it and look at Simon Cowell's face? Why don't we get that on TV anymore?
Because he is one. No, I don't think that would work, would it?
I don't think so.
I'd probably get 3 X's anyway before I walked on.
Is there any reason why you've lasted? Is there anything you do other than being you and being just genuine and saying, if you don't like me, don't come?
Well, the top and bottom of it is I can't fix a door handle. I can't change a light bulb. What I do best is tell comedy. My jokes that's me. I've thought about retiring, and I've thought, how could I? What else would I do? What else can I do? I just love being on stage. I love talking to people. I love making them laugh, and that's. I mean, like Tommy Cooper, if I dropped dead on stage, that would be the final curtain for me. That would be it. That would be. Well, he lived his life to the full. And at the end of it, he died how he'd wanted to die.
Thank you for talking to me again.
And thank you very much. And look after yourselves. Bye-bye, everybody. Bye-bye.